Hi Arun, good morning.
Hello, Srinath. Very good morning. Welcome to Python demo session.
Yeah,
And yeah, hello, Sai Kumar. Hello, Bhuvneshwari. Hello, Prashant. So, for the people who do not know me, this is Arun, evidently, and I'm going to be your Python trainer. So, I'm just waiting if other people would be joining. So let's wait 2 to 3 minutes more, and then we can get started. All right. So let's begin our session, guys. So once again, welcome you all to this Python demo session. I'm your trainer for I'll be trainer for Python. I teach data science, analytics, Power BI, SQL in Excelytics. Okay. Thank you for having me here first up. And also, uh, I'm very excited about today's demo session as to, how different people that I'm going to meet today and what are different viewpoints that I'm going to get from the students with regards to the learning they wanted to take. Okay. So that is going to be very exciting for myself. Okay. So before I jump into today's demo, I would like to have a quick round of introduction from the audience. Okay. So can you guys just quickly introduce yourself?
All right. Yeah. Thank you, Arun. Good morning. Um, um, I'm staying in Nacharam, Hyderabad. So right now
Mhm.
I'm doing a work in IT company as a equity research analyst. So I am see this Python will be adding to additional value to my career. That's why I have chosen. Thank you, Arun.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Srinath, for your introduction. Thank you so much. Srinath is one of the students from other batches as well. So he's been aligned with us for other important courses like SQL, Power BI. So I pretty much know Srikant. Well, thank you very much for that introduction again. So next,
Hello, so my name is Prashant Khatri. I'm I'm studying. I'm pursuing my degree right now, and I would just want to enhance my computer skills. That's why I want to learn Python.
uh, wow, great, Prashant. Could you tell me more about your college and your degree?
Yeah, I'm pursuing BCom Computer Applications in Aurora near RTCX block.
Okay. Which semester are you
Yeah,
in?
I'm in fifth semester.
All right, great. Thanks, Prashant.
Thank you, sir.
Who would like to go next? Can we have the other participants? Bhuneshwari, can you go? Okay, I think the participant is not there. Sai Kumar,
Good morning, sir.
good morning.
Myself, Sai Kumar. I completed my graduation. Presently, I am uh, learning advanced Excel in Excelytics institution.
Mhm.
So I want to learn more about like data science, data analysis career path related courses. That's why I want to hear now.
Oh, great. That's good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So I think we are over. Fine. So thank you everyone for the introduction. So let me introduce myself. So I'm a data scientist and I'm an analytics consultant, having a good experience in these fields in data analytics, business intelligence, machine learning, and AI. So been training students since the past good a couple of years, and you know it's going good. Okay. So before we jump into the session today about Python, I would like to ask you let's ask ourselves a very important question, guys. Okay. So the question is, what is programming? Okay. So when I say, hey, I'm going to learn programming, what do I actually mean? When I write a code, when I write a Python code, or when I write a Java code, when I write a C++ code, what do I actually mean? What am I actually doing? right? So basically, I'm going to be I'm like a magician. Okay, I'm like a magician who is going to use a certain few lines of words, fancy symbols, so-called, these are called syntaxes, to create something from absolute nothing. Okay, indirectly, what I'm doing is I'm telling the computer to perform a certain task in a certain manner, in a specific manner. Okay, so how do I perform the task? From where do I start? What all should be involved in that task? What should be my output? Where should be my output? From where should I get the output? Everything is told by me. Imagine a case of an application that is already present. Imagine the case is of an Excel. Okay, the application is nicely built. We have that application inside our system. The moment you open, you see everything, right? You see the options, you see the formatting options, you see the table options, you see the print options, already ready for you. But when you are programming, you have no such thing around you, right? So you have to build everything from the beginning. If you want to add view numbers, you might have a formula for that anyways, but you are going to do it from the scratch. You will be taken back to the level to define what an addition is, or perhaps you will be taken to the level to describe what the symbol plus means in programming. It will go to that level. Okay, so in simple terms, this is programming, right? It just focus on the words that I have highlighted using the yellow color. I mean, I don't want you to study the whole paragraph, but rather the reason why I have highlighted the yellow words is important. Just let's go with the first word. Okay, programming. Okay, so I would say a series of lines of commands that I'm going to write. Why? The second word, tasks. To give some task to my computer. Why do I give that task? What is the purpose of that task? That is because I want to go to the next word. To solve problems. What sort of problems? It can be easiest problems. Like you want to add two numbers. You want to get the maximum number from a list, from an array of numbers. Right? You have 1 million numbers. You want to find out one number from that 1 million. How do you do it? That is the easiest one. What would be the hard one? Hard ones like be not hard ones. Comparatively, hard ones would be telling your computer to tell you the weather where you are staying, asking your computer to reply an email, doing some complex calculations for yourself, editing an image, cropping an image, opening something, sending a text message by for itself. Potentially, these are the few tasks that my computer, I'm going to give my computer. Okay. Why? To solve problems. Now, why is this solving problems so commonly spoken? Why is that? Why is that we always attribute to solving problems to computers? The simple answer is repetition. Computers can repeat. How many times computers won't get tired? Okay. If you want to probably get some data from a sensor, okay, if I want to write a program that is checking your heartbeat every 2 seconds and giving you alerts about your condition, about your current condition, it is not possible by a human to, first, it is not operationally possible that a human can't stand by you and check your pulse every 2 seconds in 2 second interval. And obviously, we are all humans, we get tired. But what is the task? The task is to check the heartbeat. That's it. That is only one task. I am just repeating those tasks again and again. My computer is basically good at these things. So I do the same thing again and again, again and again. My computer does not feel a sense of pain in any manner. That is the beauty of programming. What is multiplication? Repeated addition, right? If I want to do, if I want to give, I want to multiply something by something, what I would do rather, I would do some repeated multiplication. What is division? Repeated subtraction. So fundamentally, what my computers are good at is basically repetition. And of course, why do they have the edge? Because those are machines. Those are not humans. They won't get tired. Of course, there will be other constraint for computers. Constraints like memory, constraints like space, speed of the computer, etc. But if I see a purview of it, okay, if you have the constraint of memory, you just take a computer, plug into a bigger RAM, and then you run it, it works. Easy, right? Flexible, right? So imagine this on your watch. Imagine this program on your watch. So if you have ever used a smartwatch, just turn that smartwatch around, and then you see a red light blinking always at predefined intervals. It blinks. Why does it blink? Because somebody has programmed that watch to blink at a predefined interval, and then get your heartbeat from that. Get your heartbeat from that and store it somewhere inside the memory of your phone. So no matter how many times I ask my watch to do it, it will do it. It does not get tired. If my watch is a good branded watch, if suppose my watch is in a good condition, other than that, that does not stop, man. It keeps on repeating the same process again and again, again and again. Okay. So program is nothing but a command that we give to the computer to solve a problem. And it's the next word is humans and computers. Obviously, it's between a human and a computer, right? And the next word is instructions. These tasks are basically instructions that I give it to my computer. And of course, you have language at the end. Now, obviously, if I'm talking to somebody, I should talk in the language that the person understands, right? Therefore, I have this syntaxes. Of course, you have AI now where you can write whatever you want in your own language, whether it might be Hindi or English, Spanish. The computer is going to understand whatever, but fundamentally, what my computer will look for when I am talking to it, it will look for the language that it understands to perform a task. So, therefore, we have the advent of programming languages. Everything that we see about programming is nothing but solving a bigger problem. And how do we solve it? We break it into small pieces. We break it into very small pieces, and the computer breaks down into very small pieces and solves all the small problems together and sums up the final answer. So anything that you see around is basically this. This is crudely, this is what computers do. This is what programming languages do. Okay. So much of programming definition. So I mean, let me read it. I do not probably focus on the, paragraph much. So let me read. So programming refers to a technological process for telling a computer which tasks to perform in order to solve problems. It is a collaboration between humans and computers in which humans create instructions for a computer to follow in a language computers can understand. Full stop. Clear, right? So we need to remove the cloud from our head to understand this fundamental concept, right? So what do I want? How do I want to get it? Where do I need to write it? These will be the simple things that you want to know. Okay. So every small aspect that you are going to deal in programming will revolve around these things. What do you want? How do you want to get it? Where? That's it. If you're not clear about what do you want, it does not work. Okay. So now, so programming, what are the popular programming languages out there? So these are the programming languages. So I'll just broadly take you through all these things first. So you have PHP on your extreme left hand side. So it's PHP is basically a backend programming language that is very popularly used for backend server side development. So it's a powerful language. So will be used to create web applications, web pages. So every application server side, PHP is used. PHP is used. It's again a choice. So PHP is, you can call it as an alternative to .NET. So that's PHP. On the next step, you have our Python, right? The language of our interest at the moment. So Python is again, it's not a new language. It's a very old language. The reason why Python has been famous is its scope and compatibility across different industries. We will look into that. So Python is also a language that is used for a backend programming. Also, it might be a web application, it might be a website, etc. So it has multiple functionalities. So this is the same. So when I say programming languages, so it is basically you're using that language to create something, no? So when I say backend development, it simply means that you have your website, imagine a website, and then you have your pages, you have your HTML, you have your CSS, that the visual part of it that you are seeing it. But then you have that information inside that web page, right? The moment you enter a form, the moment you give a details through a website, and then you click on submit. What happens? That submit is going to take the details probably, and then store that detail somewhere and send the information, the respective information to the people who is supposed to see that information. It will send you a confirmation that, hey, you have entered these details inside this website. Right? So what happens here? So there's something that is going on in the backend. Okay? This is called backend development. Very broadly. This is a broad concept again. So shortly, this is what happens. And then you have HTML5. So HTML is nothing but, we all, I think, know it's a hypertext markup language. It's a markup language. Okay. So it's all deal about the content of the website. Okay. How my content has to be arranged. How much content, where which content, etc. Okay. And then we have the famous programming language. Famous, I mean, it is as famous as, it can beat all the programming languages, right, in one go. Why is it famous? Again, it's because of its robustness, durability, and the wide range of applications that this programming language can be incorporated.
Sorry to interrupt you, Aaron. Durability. So the what durability is applicable to the codes? They will be expired.
Durability as to, for example, when I have different versions of a programming language, right? For every year they release a new version. So when I change from one version to another, so what happens generally is, for example, I'm programming my thing on a given version of a language. So when I have a new version of the language, so I have to change. I have to migrate my code, or probably make some changes to my code based on the new version, right? For me to have that transition, that will be smooth in these high level languages. Clear?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So again, we have Java there. So again, a popular language. You have C++. So again, this language is an addition to C. And then plus plus is basically that's this programming languages. This C++ is basically object oriented. So therefore you have C++, right? So C++ is again a very comparatively a faster programming language than all of them. So you have C++ first. If I see if I put them in an hierarchy, so C++ is going to be the faster. Then you have Java, and then you have Python. Okay, in that order. Now, this is my R programming language. R is nothing but a very popular programming language that is used in statistical analysis. Okay, so it has its own benefits. So on the extreme right, you are seeing an icon that might not be so much familiar than the rest of the programming languages, right? So this programming language is called, yeah, Srinath, you are telling something.
Yeah. Just I have a straight one question here. So
Mhm.
which industry we are referring to do work with R? You
R can
said
be,
that statistical, right?
yeah. So statistical, any industry that is using statistical modeling, data science, they can use R.
We can create the programming or any functionality.
Functionality, no. Functionality I would not go for R. I would probably have some specific specific uses, okay, when it comes to statistics, right? Statistics has a host of different functions. Statistics has a host of different de demands for itself, right? Then I would require a programming language that is best for it. So R is one of them. Okay. Now, to the next level, it's the language that I was talking to towards your right hand side, the extreme right, is called Shift. So what is Shift? Quickly. So application development for your iOS, for your iPhone, iPad, iMac, etc. So that will be written in this language called Swift. Okay. Every application that is available in our iOS store, app store, in our iPhones, so that has to be written on Swift. Okay. So it is the programming language that is used to develop iOS applications. Okay. So again, so here we have only one programming language of interest. But why? Why Python? So there are multiple uses, multiple reasons why we use Python. Okay. So some of them are these. Okay. So first up, it is very well suited for beginners. Okay. Anyone who is planning to venture into their journey of programming can start off with Python. That's my suggestion. Okay. Why is that case? Because first up, it will not be so complex than compared to another programming language, say C++ or Java. Okay. Again, why? Arun, why are you telling us that? Why it is simple? Why it is simple? So when I say simple, it means that it is not easy. It might be comparatively easy, but we have to define what easy is. Okay. Easy is again a very subjective word. So something that might be easy to somebody might not be easy to another person, right? So simpler syntax. Okay. So English like syntax, I would say. So the syntax of Python is, I mean, the need for some characters or some special characters or few operators that I would use for C++ or Java are not present in Python. So it is more clean. It is more like readable. It is easy to understand when somebody is reading it. Okay. So when the syntax is simple, obviously you will not be intimidated by the programming language, right? First up, you can understand what I'm talking. So therefore, it is well suited for beginners. Again, in terms of functionality, Python is no less than any of the other programming languages. It can compete with Java. It can compete with C++. In good sense. Right. So when I say my syntax is easy, this is called, I have fewer lines of code. Obviously, the fourth point. I have very few lines of code. And there is a very important concept in any programming language that you see is object-oriented programming. Again, by itself, we'll discuss that in detail when we jump into our classes. It's a very important, very elaborate discussion. So Python is basically an object-oriented language. So object-oriented, a programming language being object-oriented, again, is probably the most sought for programming language, obviously, right? So today, there is no programming language that the industry is using that is not object-oriented. So every programming language is object-oriented. Now, what is an object in Python? What is the benefit of a normal programming language? Like, for example, C is not object-oriented. Right? What's the major difference between object-oriented and this? We'll look into that in greater detail. It's an interesting concept. So when I talk about programming languages, guys, when I'm talking about programming language, even if I'm talking about Python, Java, or per se Swift, C Sharp, anything, I'm just changing the language. I'm just changing the language of that code. Slang, no slang. For example, you speak the same English language in Japan. You speak the same in Malaysia, Poland, Russia, United States, New York, UK. You have the same language, but you see so much of variation in their accent, right? So programming is, I would give the same analogy to programming as well. So when I say you are learning this in Python, it's not that only confined to Python. The syntax for Python might be slightly different. The slang of Python might be different. But the main crux of functionality is going to be same across all the languages. So if I'm saying object-oriented, the concepts of object-oriented, hold on for a second. The concepts of object-oriented programming, the concepts of the various characteristics of a object-oriented programming language. It's going to be same across all the programming languages that are object-oriented. What is going to change? The way that concept is being executed in my Python. That is going to change. So therefore, if somebody is having a host of programming languages in your resume, it's simply because if you learn any one programming language, if you are learning any one programming language, it becomes easy for you to understand. It becomes relatively easy for you to understand a new programming language because the concepts are same. A plus is a plus, right? Anywhere. So even if you are doing that in Excel, in Google Sheets, in Python, plus what a plus does is that is what? So camera is a camera, right? Whether it is in an iPhone, whether it's an MI, the functionality of the camera is the same. The quality might differ. The features that the camera might give us on the mobile phone might be different. So keep this in mind also. So when I say programming, whenever we are learning programming, so we are looking at the overview. Okay. The conceptual understanding of what programming is first. Then you have to build your understanding around the concept. You have to build your understanding in such a way that take the wider view. Don't see that, okay, so I want to achieve this particular function. Which line of code should I want to use? How will I get the output of this? That's not the way. Just understand the crux of what is happening over there. Even if you miss one comma or semicolon or a bracket, it's fine. You can find that if you are not getting the desired result, you can find that on the internet. A lot of people are there to tell you, where did you go wrong, but nobody is going to explain you the concept in clear. To understand the concept. Now, let me go to the fifth point. So I told you the boom of Python in the recent years is because of the libraries that are written in Python. Okay. So there are host of libraries. Now, what is a library? What do I mean when I say library? In simple terms, library is a functionality that is already predefined, that somebody has written the code for that for me and kept it ready. And I'm just going there and using it. That's it. For example, I have a jacket. If I want a jacket, I can stitch a jacket, right? I can go to the store that is selling all the leather. I can go the store that is giving me the zip, buttons, threads, etc. I can buy a stitching machine and then I can stitch a jacket in my own. Not possible? It's possible. It's not impossible, right? It's possible. But there are people who are working on it, who have designed the jacket for for sale. What difference will it do if I just go there and pay some price, bring the jacket home and then wear it? Simple. The things that are already there, wearing. The jacket what you will be creating in your home will be the same. If you want, if you are an expert, if you are going to be particular about, okay, you want only this, you can create exactly the jacket that the person has sold you. But again, it is something that it is used across a lot of people. So it is already created by somebody. A specific company is there that creates all these things, and then you are just paying some money and wearing it. The same way in programming also, there are few functionalities that we would not want to program again and again. We do not want to write the code for that again and again. So these codes are very common. For example, you have a sum function in Excel. What does it do? It multiplies two values. It adds two values, right? Do I every time write A1 plus B1 plus B2 plus B3 plus B3? No, I'll just sum. I open the bracket. I'll say A1 is to D1. I'll get a sum of all that records. Why? Because somebody has written some program that when I write SUM inside Excel, it has to do something. Why? You can write every time, you can write you can also achieve it by A1 plus A2. It gets the same result. But you would not like to, because you want a modular. You want it to be modular. You want to create that as a formula. You have macros in Excel. Right? What is macros? I mean, somebody has written a set of code that, okay, I want to change these things in my sheet. Every time that I'm getting the new sheet, every time I'm getting a new data, I'm doing these modifications every time. Let me record something. Let me say that, okay, whenever I'm getting this data, let me click a button and then all these things change automatically. So these predefined functionalities, be very careful about it. Listen carefully. These predefined functionalities that are already there, these are nothing but programs only that are packaged together and are sold, okay, in the form of downloads or libraries. And then, for example, there are libraries in Python to do scientific analysis. Here on scientific analysis is cool, but you can do that in program. For example, I want to calculate the orbital velocity of an object at a given speed, at a given distance, etc. I want to calculate, I want to get a function, I want to have a function that does some complex operations. I can, of course, write that in code, but I have somebody who is giving me all these formulas as a package. Hey, take this, take these tools, use this. I can just take that tool, probably use all the nice functionalities that that tool has, and do my programming. Simple. So when I say libraries, that is what I actually mean. Okay. So Python, such libraries, Python supports a host of libraries for machine learning, web scraping, data analysis, graphical user interface, development, and deep learning. So many. So these libraries are created by whom? These libraries are created by companies. Like normal companies do things, right? So software companies create these libraries. They do all the hard work. They do all the code. They do all the backend stuff that they want to do. And then they'll package it in a small thing, give it to us. Right? So for example, for machine learning, there are amazing libraries in Python. For web scraping, what is web scraping? Web scraping is nothing but you wanted a dump of data from your from online. You have OLX, right? And every morning you want to get the data, get all the advertisements that are stored in OLX, that are displayed in OLX onto your system. What do? Not a good idea to hire a couple of people to copy paste all the data that is there in OLX onto a database, right? And then you start making cold calls. Not going to work. You have a concept of web scraping where you are going to the level of the program of the website, probably. I would say the front end of the website, and then you are pulling that content that is sitting on the website, simply. So again, different functionalities. So data analytics, very important libraries we have for data analytics as well. When I say data analytics, I'll give you an example. You have a tables, right? Whenever you talk about data, we talk about tables. So it's a table. Data is nothing but, in our data terminology, it can be anything, of course. So whenever I'm looking from a data DBMS point of view, I'm seeing this as a table, an arrangement of a row and a column. So whatever library that I'm going to use for data analytics should be able to give me the functionality that I would get with regards to a table. I should be able to view the table first up. I should be able to convert a set of data into a table. I should see the table in front of me. I should be able to change the names of the columns. Sounds amazing, right? I can change the names of in programming. You can do this. Can make some calculations onto my table. Again, Arun, can we not do it without importing? Yeah, it can do, but it will take eternity for us. Time waste. I would not stop if anyone would be interested to do it. But again, somebody has already done it. Somebody has taken the headache. So Python has a very elaborate list of functionalities when it comes to data analytics in the form of libraries. Okay. Graphical user interface. What is graphical user interface? Is nothing but creating a small scale application inside your local machine, maybe like an image viewer or a calculator, right? So something that can be, this is all program, right? So it's all sitting on a black screen. You want to create something that you can really touch and feel, right? That you can do with GUI libraries. There's a very good library for graphical user interface also in Python. And of course, how can I not name this? Development. So Python is extensively used as a backend programming language for web application development and application development in specific. So it supports some good libraries for web development and web application development as well. So like it has to have some libraries for data analytics, for web scraping, machine learning, etc. It should also have libraries for graphical user interface or web development as well. So Python is having a very powerful library for this application development or server-side development, I would say. Okay, and then the last part is deep learning.
What was it? Just last sentence. The last word you mentioned.
I mentioned that it has a powerful library for web development, web application development.
Okay.
All right. Oh, fine. Now, deep learning. so much of so these words are so much in the news, right? So deep learning, machine learning, artificial intelligence, data analytics. So what is deep learning? Deep learning is a subset of artificial intelligence as a whole. Okay. So it corresponds to the level that is a very, very complex for any normal programming language to achieve, and then it to give us the desired results. So it is simply like you are creating a brain by using these programming languages, and this brain can perform millions of calculations and then give us the desired results. It can think, it can nearly calculate like we do in our brains. So these deep learning libraries or these deep learning methodologies imitate the brain. They use something called as neural networks to achieve that. So again, Python has very interesting library for deep learning as well. Okay, so these are the various fields that Python is used in: application development, artificial intelligence, data analytics, and automation. So Python has an amazing library for testing also and automation. So automation you want to automate a certain task on your system. You want to do a specific activity, something stops or something starts before something starts. That's automation basically. So Python has libraries for that as well. So whenever I'm looking at Python, programming languages, programming can do anything, guys. So it is up to you what you want to do with it. You can do anything. Okay. It is about how much functionalities do I have with me that are doable. Okay. So when I talk about data analytics, so Python is popular in this. So it is just simply means that I have my Python supports or my libraries support, the Python programming languages in these areas, a host of programming languages in these areas. Okay. So now, if I look at one specific area that Python is so famous for, it's going to be this: data analytics and data science. I think people would have heard these things, these words earlier. So not, I'll explain you, but let me pause for a second now here and just me take some words from the audience. So guys, are you following? There's no response from any side. Is it boring or what?
No, sir, we following.
Following, right?
Yeah,
So
actually, new things also learn about this. Never before.
okay. So anyone else? I mean, following, right? Anyone has any questions? All right. So let's resume. Okay. So whenever I'm talking about a library, I told you it's a fixed functionality. And then that functionality, I mean, that package, that module is given to me in the form of a name. It's a name. Don't these are having beautiful names. It's are having weird names. It might be weird sometimes. Totally weird. But interesting, in fact. But again, you have to understand what do they do actually. Okay. So my first library is the pandas library. So pandas is basically used for data analytics. And I told you, right? the functionalities that are related to tables is offered by pandas. Okay. We'll look into these libraries quickly in a while. Okay. So then towards your right, it's matplotlib. Now you are seeing a small 360-degree plot inside the in the O of the plot, right? So that's basically tells us something related to graphical representation. So matplotlib is a very famous Python library for guys. I mean, Python has libraries. I mean, Python has functionalities. So when I say Python has functionality, it doesn't mean that we are importing that from a library for data visualization, guys. So inside Python, you can visualize data, visualize your data, because data analytics is nothing without my data visualization, right? At least for the sake of my analysis, if I want to look at a trend, if I want to look at the distribution, maybe if I want to look at the how my data is, how my data is there inside my data set, I have to have some sort of visualization handy with me, right? So that is offered by matplotlib. Okay. So Cbon sits on matplotlib. It's seen together. So matplotlib plus Cbon. So it gives an extra power to matplotlib. So there are more libraries in Cbon. When I say more libraries, sorry, I mean more functionalities. When I say it's a Cbon is also visualization library, so more functionality has to amazing plots, interesting plots, the plots that can just take our mind off. Amazing. These are my favorite libraries. Okay, that is Cbon. And then you have NumPy. It's very rarely, I mean, it's comparatively less used for data analytics, but more used in machine learning and artificial intelligence, but can be useful for us also sometimes, maybe. So NumPy stands for numerical Python. Okay. So it basically helps us to do a lot of complex mathematical calculations, matrix calculations, etc. More towards the numerical side, more towards the mathematical side of Python. But again, amazing functionalities. Okay. Now I just grabbed few snapshots about these libraries directly from the I mean, if you search for pandas on Google, you'll find these. So the pandas are offered by companies, a different company. It's like a different small company that is offering us this functionality like that. So you have websites for all these things individually. So I wanted to keep it very real, keep you very connected with the ecosystem. Therefore, I just grabbed few pictures from the website itself. So I have the source is there. So you can see that library highlights, you can say fast and efficient data frame object for data manipulation and integrated indexing. What is a data frame in pandas? Just for your curiosity, it is nothing but a table. Okay. So on the third line, you're just seeing something called as missing data, right? So missing data for, yes, in my data analytics journey, so I have 3 lines, right? So I have to transform my data also. So I have to transform, I have to extract, I have to transform, and I have to load. So when I am looking at the transformation, I'm looking at dealing with the missing data also, cleaning data. So that has to be offered by my library, right? So Pandas has it. Okay. And then you have slicing, indexing, and subsetting. We look into it. In general, slicing is basically like a slice. You have a table. Imagine the table as a thick cake. Okay. Nice cake with a nice width. And imagine that you are slicing it horizontally and vertically. You can do that. You're just getting a part of the table with this. So slicing. Fancy indexing is basically something related to slicing only. or generating an index for something. Then you have your group by operations, merge operations, join operations. So these are some of the data level operations that we generally look into, guys, whenever we are looking at a data point of view. So for example, if you are coming from a data analytics background, or per se, you're coming from learning after learning SQL or Excel, you might know pivot tables, you might know conditional, creating a conditional column, etc. Joining, joins, VLOOKUP, etc. Right? So table is a table. So those functionalities also come here. So you in pandas, you can do some pivoting, you can do some joining, you can do some VLOOKUP. All these things can be done with the help of pandas. Okay. So we have our next library. So it's numerical Python again. So I told you. So it's more on towards the mathematical side of programming. So programming is very beautiful when it is seen with mathematics, guys. Okay. So I'm just trying to build a curiosity around you. Okay. You have to it has to open your mind to thinking about these things. And probably when we are starting off with the classes, it will be more interesting. So it says that, a fundamental package for scientific computing with Python, etc. So powerful n-dimensional arrays. So array is nothing but a collection of values of the same data type. A very simple definition. So it's very easy to use again. It's well optimized, interoperable. Okay. Now you have your matplotlib. I've shown matplotlib, right? So this is shows like it is visualization. If you want to visualize your data with Python, then you have to do with this. You have to use the functions from this particular library. Okay. Very interesting, very beautiful charts. The charts that you would not find anywhere. Very scientific charts. We would need, depending on the complexity of the data that we handle day in, day out, we would need some complex charting. Some normal charting would not work. So that will be achieved by these complex scientific visualization tools. Okay. Next, the leftover one is your Seaborn. You see the charts that are there. Looks very geeky, right? Very geeky. Like wow, kind of charts. I was amazed when I started to work with C1 in my early stages of the career. It's still one of my favorite areas of interest. So depending on the complexity of the data, for you to have a better understanding of the data, you are not going to go for traditional charting. So you have to, it's basically you are trying to figure out something inside your data. You are trying to get some idea about your data. Then you want to have some, imagine you're getting a data from a sensor, right? Every second. And then you want to do some complex analysis on it real quick. To do it. There will be some way to do it here in Shiba. These programming languages, when I say this, whatever functionalities that I've told you, numerical Python, pandas, etc., Seaborn, visualize, etc., these are not confined to just data science and machine learning, guys. Imagine NASA uses Python. Rocket science uses Python. Physics professors, physics researchers use Python. Chemical engineers use Python. Quantum computing scientists use Python. These libraries. So just So when I say the data visualization, so just imagine the complexity of data that is being visualized, right? So again, so these are about my libraries, top companies that use Python, basically. So these are Netflix, Google, Spotify, Pinterest, Amazon, and Uber. Okay. So these companies primarily have Python as their primary language or use Python in some capacity. Okay. If you go to the official webpage of Python, just try to look into it. And then you will have a, a page which says customers, etc. So in that you will find the bigger list. These are just a very few. The ones that I could just fit in the slide or perhaps make it look more appealing. And then the important top companies, right? So the list goes on. It's a very big list. Well, that is being said about Python. So so much of things about Python, right? So now, important stuff. What will you learn? The learning here for Python or programming that I'm going to deliver to you is going to be very different from any other courses. Like if you have taken any course of mine earlier, it's going to be very different because here you are constantly solving a problem. You are learning something to solve a problem, right? So we are going to come from the back first. We'll identify the problem first and then we will solve it. And again, it's interesting because everything is built from scratch, from zero. All you would have is a blank page or a blank screen in front of you. And then you have to write all these things from scratch. It might be as simple as probably adding two numbers or doing some complex math calculation, or not complex, simple only. But that is also a task, right? We'll achieve small milestones at the moment, and then we'll go towards the end. Right. So here's the commitment from my side. So there would be a lot of practicality to whatever we are learning, real use case, real scenarios, etc. So the approach will be very much practical. And then you have the problems as interesting problems. So my teaching is going to be from the problem side. So understand the problem, identify the problem, wrap your analysis, wrap your programming around that. The best programmers in the world are the people who wanted to solve a problem. And then they got their answers from programming. Okay. So you have to know what problem you are looking at, which problem you are looking at, what do you want to learn. Then, so here in the class, we might be I will give you an understanding as to how these things will be used, but it is from your head that you need to create something. Okay, Arun, I want to do this. I want to achieve this thing. Then you have to understand, okay, to achieve this, in my course, I have learned these things already. What should I apply more on this, or how should I use these things that I've already learned for me to solve that problem? So you have to come in that order, right? So next is you are going to look at basic to advanced level of these things. We are going to look at all these concepts at a very basic level that will go up to the advanced levels. And then you have your assignments, and then it's all like I'll be rolling out so many assignments for you, so many assignments as to I'm going to teach a topic and then would ask you to solve a problem, or probably ask you to come back to me with some code that based on the things that we have discussed. So these things that I will tell you will improve your critical thinking. Okay. that will improve your critical thinking, your problem solving ability, etc. Okay. And then you have anyways have the mentorship from me. So it is not just confined to Python or any course. You can just reach out to me anytime through my email or probably the WhatsApp group whichever group we are added to. You can just find my name over there and then you can reach out to me directly just in case you're stuck at a point probably. And then you want to figure out something when it regards to you want to start off your journey with so and so, and then you are not understanding which path to take, what things to learn in the beginning, etc. Please feel free to reach out to me. I would love to share my thoughts about it. So these are the tools. Again, we'll see this whenever we are starting our classes. So these are the tools that we are going to use while we are writing the code, like when we are building things. So towards the left hand side and towards the extreme right. So these are alternative to each other, whether we can use a Google Collaboratory. This is from Google, extreme right, extreme left. And then there's a Jupyter Notebook. So these are things. So we'll decide upon which to use, etc. It's all very simple. One click installation, open the application, something kind of that. In the center, you have your Visual Studio Code. So towards the end, towards your both ends, what you're seeing is probably it's like a rough work that we can do on your Collaborator and Jupyter, and then the complex things that we are advanced things that we are going to learn, we'll see that in the Visual Studio Code. So it's an application. Okay. Well, so that's about the tools that we are going to use. Now, a very important thing, right? So what are the prerequisites to learn Python? Who can learn Python? What should I have to learn Python? What is the expectation from me to learn Python? So I have a small list of things that is very important before you jump into this course that you want to do or you want to figure out to learn Python. So here's a list. Okay. So you should have enough time for yourself to give enough time for the subject. It takes time. It's my job to make sure that you are not intimidated by the language. So if you are having some phobia related to programming, that seeing that big codes and then saying that, okay, this is not possible to me, give it some time. Let it go inside you. Okay. Let your mind be familiar to it. Then you will try to look this in a different viewpoint. And then, of course, you should have curiosity to learn new things. It is not that, okay, only what sir has explained in the class, I'm going to practice. No, everything is open source. I'm not stopping you from looking at any other resource while you are learning for Python. I would be happy if you are coming back to me and say, hey, Arun, you have taught this. This is what I saw. Let's bring that on the table. Let's understand it. Let's discuss. You have to be very curious about things. If I say A, you should say B, C, D, E, F. And then you have to have an immense passion for learning, because these are very deep concepts designed by people who are experts, geniuses, right? For us to work on these things, we need the equal dedication and passion, love towards these things. So just for the sake of certification, just for the sake of something that, okay, I want to learn something, a programming language, don't learn. I mean, if you are learning, it's fine, but again, you'll not find the flavor of it. Learn it with passion, learn it with, okay. Then you will be able to really make some difference. Okay, and then the fourth one is common for everything that we want to learn in life in general. So you have to have a lot of patience. So it's not like it's been a month, it's been 2 months, sir, I'm not still having confidence. So when programming, it's all about confidence, right? You're writing something, you get the result, you're confident. The next moment you write something, you're not getting the result, give some time to yourself. Be patient enough. Make your efforts. It's my job to tell you where you are going wrong, how you should rectify it, how you should think. Leave it to me. Have some patience. Practice patience. So that is the things that I would expect from you, from your side. Along with this, of course, you should have a time. I told you, right? The first component has a lot of practice. So you have a lot of space for yourself to practice these things. So it is not like it is not possible for me to tell you all the use case of a specific thing. No, it's not possible. I'm being honest. So I'll tell you the concept. I'll tell you a few examples. That's all. Now, yeah, it's your job to practice things by your own, create things by your own, think, come to me, and then say, this I have done. Right? Only the moment you practice things by yourself, only then you will learn. So it is not going to be like a TV show where you are just watching the lectures and then you know it feels, because the Python is readable, it is where you will build the illusion that okay, you are understanding, but no, unless you are writing it with your hands, you're not going to understand anything, guys. So have practice. Okay. So that is the things that I wanted to discuss from my side for today's demo. So now I would open the platform for questions. Anyone, any questions? No questions? Okay. Guys, how was the session? Enjoyed it or was it boring?
I enjoyed the class very much, sir.
Srinath, any things from you?
Yeah, it is so informative because it's come from the basic level. I have noted down everything what you have mentioned. I have a little bit a clear picture what I'm going to learn and how it is utilized and used. And one more thing that Arun, I hope
Mm-hmm.
wait, see, I just have stopped this somewhere, but what I understand here, see, programming is all about what getting the solution. Right. If we
Correct.
need to identify the problem, then we need to frame into the right way.
Correct. Correct.
So programmers should know the solution, whatever
Right.
the what problem you're getting. But
Right.
before that, you need to know the. It's a pre-defined, right? Whatever the problems you're getting, it's a pre-defined. Already somebody is faced and it's programmed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, so
Not
very much
necessarily, no,
clear.
not necessarily, no, Srinath. Not necessarily, no. You might face with a problem. You might be facing with a problem that is new to you. Nobody has done anything about it.
Some use cases, definitely.
Hmm?
But solution will be there for that, right? It is already coded. It's already programmed. That solution we can able to get it.
Correct.
No?
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's all
See,
about
one more thing that
problem solving.
yeah. So one more thing that Python is a one tool or Python is a package of tools.
Python is not a tool. Python is a programming language. I told you what is a programming language. Programming
Yeah.
language is nothing but a set of instructions that we give to a computer to do something. That's all. Keep it very simple. It's a set of instructions. You can write that code on the notebook and execute also. Your notepad on your system, you can do that also. You can execute it and then you will get the results.
So
Okay.
it is compatible for but different software.
It
It's
is
just a
not.
language.
It is a language. Okay. It is a language. For example, you want to say, you want to add two numbers. You should write that addition in in the language of Python. So that is a language. So Python is not a tool. Python is just a language. It's a set of words, a set of syntax that you want to follow. So it's
Okay.
plain. It's a plain notebook. Plain, nothing. You have to build everything from scratch.
Got it.
Got it?
So
Yeah.
yeah, before that I thought that Python is a tool. Okay.
No. Python is not a tool. It's a
Yeah.
programming language.
Okay, all right. So based on the user compatibility and the user preference and different tools are come up, and Python is the language to use in different sectors and different tools to get the problems resolved.
Exactly. Python is not used in any tool. Python is used to create something new by itself. So it will not be used in any tool. It will do some operations by its own. So it's like that. It is used to be to
It is
be
application create. It's kind of we can use for the creation of applications.
exactly. I would say Python is not a tool. Python is used to create tools.
Okay.
Okay. Fantastic. And
Yeah, one more thing that how
please,
many
please.
days is to take so far to complete the course?
I think this course will last for 40 hours, 40 days, you can say.
What, how many hours you will be able to cover?
40 hours, 40 hours. So
Daily 1 hour.
yeah, daily 1 hour. So just check with the team more as to how they are planning, but the 40 hours will be the duration of this particular module.
Okay.
Okay.
It means
So
2.5 months.
maybe, yeah. So first, what we will do, we'll learn Python as general. I mean, Python programming language, and then we will work with libraries. Okay. That will be easy. So once we have to spend a lot of time understanding Python. Okay. Now, Sai, you have anything to add?
No, sir. I have a clear clarity on Python now, but I had a single doubt on that. Is it necessary to has a maths knowledge is more than?
No. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of that. So math is not. I understand your question. I was also like you. Okay. So it's not that you need to have a edge on maths and all. No. All I told you, right? 4
Yes,
prerequisites.
sir.
Make sure you have
Yes,
that.
sir.
Time,
Okay, sir. I have
patience,
all that.
passion, curiosity. You have that.
Yes, sir. I have, and I ready to curious sir, about Python
So
and more languages are done.
with that, you come to the class. I will take care.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Okay,
So we will, while my delivery would be focused on not only teaching a language, guys. So I will try to open your mind to different horizons, right? So we can think in this way also. Okay, we should think in this manner. Your critical thinking abilities will also improve when you are learning a programming language. So it's like playing chess every day, right? So you are solving a problem, you are predicting a result, and then you are doing it, right? So it's like playing chess.
okay, sir.
Here, thanks. Now, Sheikh Nagul Mehra. Hello, gentlemen.
Sir, hello.
Yeah. You have anything to add? How was the session? Did you follow? Aligned?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it is good, sir. Like I have come across the things I have learned, which I've learned in my classes,
Okay.
and it's been through. It's very good, sir.
Fantastic. So with this, let's end the session, guys. Yeah. Anyone was speaking?
No, sir. Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for your patience. Sunday morning, not a good time for to have a demo. I understand. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your efforts to come over and then listen to the class and the demo. And I would be very looking forward for you guys to have on the other side of the board, okay, and begin our programming journey with me. That's all. Okay. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, sir. Clear insights. Thank you so much.
Thank you.